Oh, I went to the garage looking for project pieces to work on, and I didn't even remember I had this. But I have this tray, and it has like acorns and fall leaves around the edge of it here. But I like the color, but I want the color to be a little bit different for my decor. So I'm going to clean this up, and then I'm going to start by painting it with the Fusion paint in the color Chateau. So my Fusion paint in the color Chateau has dried, and I've decided to add some transfers to the center of the tray. These are all from different packets, so I know some of the names. I believe this one came from Very Merry Christmas. I think this came out from one of the transfer books this spring. So I'm going to start off by transferring those two transfers on. So there's two little birds on this wreath, and I had this little piece of transfer with a bird on it. So I'm just going to apply that right over the top of this other transfer from Iron Orchid Designs. So I think that looks really good, but I've been thinking about, I have this frames transfer, and I'm thinking about, I've cut it up, and I'm thinking about applying it along the outer edge here. But I kind of like the simplicity of this. What would you do? Would you add more to it, or would you just leave it simple like this? Because I am going to be highlighting the leaves and pine cones around the edges, and I think that's going to make a big difference. So I decided to leave it just like this, but the transfers do need to be sealed in. So I'm going to seal in my transfers with Dixie Belle Clear Coat in the flat finish. And then I'm going to be using a New to Me product to highlight the leaves and the pine cones. So this is the new product, the New to Me product that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using Dixie Belle Glaze in the color Van Dyke Brown. So I'm just applying a small amount, and then I'm going to go back and wipe it off. As you can see, I did too big of an area at one time. So I'm going to try to add some water really quick and see if I can spread this out a little bit. Yeah, that's going to work. That was my error. I just did too big of an area at one time. But this is working out good. So I'm just going to continue to use the mister bottle and spray and wipe back as much as I can, so it doesn't look so splotchy. So I should have probably done this before I did the glaze, but that's okay. I'm going to be using the Apothecary Labels stamp, and I'm going to be stamping the word fall in here. For this project, I have several of these little white pumpkins, like plasticky pumpkins, and I'm going to update this, and I'm going to be trying a paint inlay on here. So I really like the brown transfer wear, especially in the fall. So this paint inlay by Iron Orchid Designs reminds me of brown transfer wear. This is the Delft Traditions Noir. This came in brown and blue, so if you like the blue, It kind of reminds me of the blue transferware also. So I'm going to be using this paint inlay on my pumpkin today. I'm going to start off with this little pumpkin and see how it works, and then I'll go from there. But for the small pumpkin, I thought I would use these border strips and cut them down to size and put them along the sides of the pumpkin. I'm not going to paint my pumpkin. I'm just going to try applying the paint inlay with a clear top coat. I'm just using 2 of the different borders and I'm alternating them, and I have 2 of them on here already. I'm just going to go ahead and go around the whole pumpkin. Okay, so I think the paint inlay has dried enough. I'm going to mist it with water and see how this is going to turn out. I'm excited. I hope it turns out really good because I want to try just a little bit bigger pumpkin. I think it's super cute for the first try, and I may not have had enough top coat in these other little areas that it didn't take as well, but that's okay because I can set it like this with some transferware or some of my fall decor, and I think it'll be super cute. So I'm gonna try this again on a little bit bigger pumpkin. Okay, so I'm going to be using this pumpkin right here. It had florals in the top and I took them out for now, but I'll be putting them back in. I've cut out all the pieces that I want to use. I may cut out a few more, but I'm going to start with putting this kind of round one on the top here and see how that goes. Okay, that wasn't too bad. And transferware is not perfect anyway. If you look at it, it's all different and most of it is not perfect. So I'm okay if it doesn't turn out perfect. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to apply the other paint inlays to the side of the pumpkin. So most of you know what brown transferware is, but here's a piece right here in case you haven't seen one before. And here's another one. They come in all different shapes and patterns. And so that's what I was trying to achieve with my pumpkins. And I am so happy with the way these turned out. I think they're really awesome. Let me know in the comments what you think about these. Of course, I couldn't have just 2, so I've done another small pumpkin, and we'll see how that turns out. I really like the way all 3 of the pumpkins turned out. The paint inlays do need to be sealed in, so normally I use a clear top coat, but this time I'm going to take these out and spray them with a clear sealer. For my next project, I have this piece of decoupage paper. It's from Decoupage Queen. It is called Painted Pumpkins. And I have this wood blank. So I want to add the decoupage paper to the wood blank. It's almost the right size, but it may be just a little bit small. So I'm going to have to figure out how to fix that. So after trimming off the white border of the decoupage paper, my paper is just a little bit short around the edges to fill in this whole frame, but that's okay. I'm going to work on fixing that. But first, I'm going to go ahead and decoupage the paper on to the wood frame, and normally I would paint this so my decoupage paper would be on a lighter background, but I don't mind this color for this decoupage paper. I don't think it will show through much, and if it does, I'm fine with those lines showing through. Sorry, I have air dry clay on my hands, but I've decided to use the Trimmings 2 mold from Iron Orchid Designs and make an extra like frame around where the decoupage paper doesn't cover all the way, and I think that's gonna look really good. So I have this much air dry clay left, so I have decided to cast a few of the little leaves from the Iron Orchid Designs mold called Autumn Cottage, and I'm just going to add some dimension to the pumpkins. So the molds are not completely dry yet, but I did go around and I sealed them in with the Dixie Belle clear coat top coat, just because I'm going to be using that new to me glaze, the Van Dyke brown glaze, and I just want to make sure that the molds are sealed in good. So I'm going to be trying the Dixie Belle glaze again in Van Dyke brown. This time I'm going to be doing it in small sections, and we'll see how this goes. I hope you enjoyed the projects that I worked on today. I had a lot of fun working on the projects, and I also learned something new about how to apply the glaze correctly. I really like the pumpkins that look like transferware. I think that's pretty awesome. And I think the tray turned out really cute too. So let me know in the comments if you have a favorite project that I worked on today. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.